Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm a little excited because you guys are going to finally see my pride and joy, my plant babies. And I love them, just not equally. And you're gonna see why today. So I think I'm just gonna get right into things. Okay? All right, so the first plant baby that is up is my Aloe Vera plants. Now, I love her because she's low maintenance. She doesn't have a name or anything. Not all my plants got names, but let's just call her Aloe. Aloe, she's low maintenance. She's a succulent and she's an evergreen perennial. And she is native, let me hold her up, I'm so sorry. She is native to the Arabian Peninsula. So she also grows in tropical, mid-tropical, and arid places. So she is very low maintenance, like I said before. I just basically have to water her once every 3 weeks, and I don't even keep to that timeline, honestly. I usually let her dry out a little bit before I go ahead and water her again, just because she's a succulent, so she doesn't require a lot of water anyway. And especially in winter, I space out the watering times a bit more just because, you know, it's winter, it's not her growing season. So yeah, I love her. She's nice to me. All right, let's move on to the next one because some of these bitches is trifling in this one. Also, she's medicinal. Some people ingest aloe vera to improve digestive health. Also, it helps with burns, and it's also good for clearing acne. So she is a multi-use plant, and yeah, I especially use it for face masks. Not this plant in general, but I do use my aloe for facials. I usually cut it in half and then I rub the leaves on my face, or I even go ahead and peel out the insides of the plant. I blend it and then I put it in my hair. So I love her. I won't use this one, but I do use aloe quite a bit in my regime. This is an Orisa palm, also known as a butterfly palm, and I like that name better. This palm is native to Madagascar, and it is actually, I would say this is one of my top favorites. Sadly, I like their plants. I can rank them from who I love to who I like. All right, her I think I love. She probably somewhere like in the middle, you know, because I don't know, since I haven't had her for that long. I've had her for a couple months, but I think she's a slow grower by nature, and that's okay. We're fine with that, right? But when she does reach her life expectancy, which is I think about 10 years, she should be about 8 to 10 feet tall. And I'm down with that. I love me a big plant. But yeah, she is a plant that needs consistent moisture in a well-drained pot. And like other plants, because she's native to Africa, she will need less watering during the winter. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about you. You cool people. I love her and I hate her, you know? This is my pothos plant, and I'm gonna tell you why I hated her. I hated her because this plant came in, like, I bought a pack of 4 off of like Amazon or something. This is when I first started getting into plants. And out of the 4 plants, 2 of them survived. The other 2 were just like, nah, bro, we don't belong here. We don't belong to you. And they died. No matter what I did, they died. And I thought I inherited the black thumb from my mom, but like, I don't know. And she almost died on me. Like, it was actually a pretty big bunch of leaves that came in this plant. And this one alone leaf was left after like 2 months of me trying to take care of it. And so for a while I was like, you know what? I think I might have to throw this plant out. I think I just have to start from scratch. I don't know what to do about it. And right when I was about to throw it out, I noticed this plant was not this plant, but this leaf alone was the only healthy one remaining. So I said, you know what? Let me just see how this goes. I picked out all of the dead leaves around it and I left it alone. And for 6 months, just this one leaf survived. And it was a little frustrating to watch because I like my plants to flourish and be cute and be big and flowing over the side, because it's supposed to like cascade over the side of your plant, your potter. And it wasn't doing that. So I was like, all right. And at the end of last year, meaning like September 2019, all these other little, like 2 of these other leaves popped up, and so on and so forth. And even if you look really, really close, I don't know if you can see, but there's a new leaf trying to sprout itself right there. But we ain't gonna touch it too much because I don't want to stunt its growth. I don't want to do anything to upset it. But yes, this pothos plant is a part of the arum family. It is native to Polynesia, and yeah, it's fairly easy to take care of. Despite the story I just told you, that was just my experience with this pothos plant, but it's fairly easy to take care of. Just keep a consistent watering basis and allow it to dry out between waterings. And again, like other plants, because it is raised in a hot area, you water less during winter. You give it a break during winter, and then during its growing season, which is usually summer, like spring, summertime, you give it a bit more care. But I love her now. Hated her, but loved her. All right, next plant. I Spy with my little eye, another favorite of mine. So this is a ZZ plant, right? Isn't she pretty? Isn't she dark and lovely? Isn't she, well, she's not black, but she's like a dark green. I don't know, I like it. All right, the ZZ plant. I am trying to remember everything about all my plants, but it's a little hard. The ZZ plant, I remember, is one of the few plants that can survive without much like care. You can put this in a closet for like 6 months and it'll still be there. It is a flowering plant, and I think it is another native of Africa. It's Eastern African. It's native to, and it is one of the, it's a pretty common houseplant, like, because these are just so hard to kill. It's very common. And oh wait, oh, it's sprouting new leaves. Okay, I thought something was wrong with it. No, it's fine. But and I think I lied to you. I don't think it's 6 months that it can live without like water or sunlight. It's 4. Don't kill it. It was in 6. It's 4 months that it could survive. But there's not much to say about this one because it's just like, it's just so low maintenance. It's just like, you can't kill it. Like, you have to really have a really like black thumb to kill this plant. And that's why it's one of my favorites, because I don't need to worry about her. It's like the independent child that like is ready to walk to school without you by the age of like 6 or 7. You don't want it to, but you gotta let it. This plant right now is the number 2 spot in my heart. All right, ZZ plant is number 3. This one is number 2, and I'll tell you why. It is another plant that you don't really have to look after. Wow, it's right in my face. It's another plant that you don't really have to worry about. I have had this for a year now. Yeah, it's been, well, no, it's actually been almost a bit over a year that I've had this plant. And this bamboo, I bought 6 stems, and I got it from, I think, Home Depot. Yeah, it was Home Depot I got it. But these 6 stems, they came very tiny in a tube like this big. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like put it in some water and forget about it. And I did exactly that. And I just made sure that the roots were covered with water. And I had to, I think it was about every 2 weeks I watered it. It suggests that you water it once a week, but it's just me and I was busy and I oftentimes forgot about it. So I watered it about twice. Oh, no, not twice a week, but every 2 weeks I watered this baby, and it grew pretty fast. And the only reason it stopped growing was because I had moved to a different area of my house and it wasn't used to the sunlight and stuff like that, so it had to adjust itself. But beyond that, it kept growing. Like even this one, this is, just look at it, it's so pretty. But yeah, I have no complaints, and it's so super easy. You literally just have to make sure that the roots are covered with water. And the reason my water line is up here is just because the roots float up now because it's growth. the roots are starting to float up, and I just try to give a little extra space to make sure that it's covered. And that's literally all you have to do about this plant. You don't have to spray it. You don't have to mind it. You just got to make sure that it has sunlight and water. How easy is that, right? Ugh. This is my least favorite plant, and I'll tell you why. This plant is so sensitive, and I'm so busy in life that I got this plant because it's called a burro's tail. And I got this plant because it's a succulent, and it's a succulent that's native to Mexico. And I was like, oh, perfect, a succulent. Another one I don't have to give too much love and attention to. And no, no, like it doesn't require a lot of attention, but these little petals, you can't touch them. The slightest touch and they fall off. And not until I had the plant did I do more research, and I found out that some damages of this plant are permanent. So I don't know whether or not some of these little leaves are going to grow back. So they might just look like this forever as they grow out, because they grow to be about 4 feet long. So as they grow out, they just might like stay with these spaces. And some of these spaces weren't even me. It happened in transit because I had bought this one offline. I think it was Amazon I got this one from. And I need to stop buying my plants off of Amazon, but you know, that's another story for another day. And yeah, it would be one of my top favorites because it's a succulent and I don't gotta give it attention. But because of the leaves being so sensitive to touch and movement, that just did it for me. And I'm keeping her alive because, you know, she's my responsibility. But beyond that, this is my favorite. A snake plant. What can I say about her? First off, her name is Delilah. This is like one of the few plants I actually named. I don't name all my plants because I just don't have time to remember all of them. But her name is Delilah, and I only remember it because she's my favorite. And I'll tell you why Delilah is my favorite. Hold on, let me get comfortable. Delilah was my first plant, and she didn't die on me. She not once gave me any problems. Delilah just sat in the corner of my room, and back then my room only had 2 windows, and it did not receive enough light to like really grow plants. And Delilah was like, it's cool, it's all right, I'm cool, I'm just chilling in the corner, you know, give me some sunlight when you're ready. And here she is, bigger and better than ever. And first off, she wasn't 2 plants in one when I got her. She grew a friend to keep her company, you know? But I love Delilah. Delilah she fits the criteria to receive my love. She is low maintenance. She can go without a little bit of a watering, even though I don't really miss her waterings because I actually do love her. I make sure that she is fed. You know, I fertilize her during the summer with a low liquid fertilizer. I make sure that she has enough sunlight. I make sure her topsoil is dry before I give her another watering. I love me a Delilah because Delilah just sits in the corner and just does her thing. And she's still growing new plants. I'm gonna have to repot Delilah soon because all you're seeing is just like new leaves. Yeah, me and Delilah, we best friends forever. And I would not get rid of her. Like, I would not even share her with a friend. I would not part them and share her. No, I wouldn't. What is that called when you split plants? Propagate? Something. I'm probably gonna put it on the screen somewhere, but yeah, I would not give Delilah up for the world because she is my pride and joy. I love her and we've been through too much, you know? We have here another succulent. She's small now, but just wait, give her time. She is another one that does not have a name because I just don't have, again, time to name all my plants, and I kind of feel crazy doing that, so I will not be doing that. Just a few though. But she doesn't have a name. Maybe when she gets a little bigger, I will feel enough love to name her. But for now, this is called a string of pearls. Its scientific name I cannot pronounce. String of pearls, I believe it's a flowering plant native to, I think, Southwest Africa. Yeah, she's a succulent and she is drought tolerant, meaning she's another one of the plants that I can literally forget about or forget to water for a little while and she will survive. She's another one that needs her topsoil to be dry during waterings. So I don't really push a lot of waterings on my plants. Only the larger plants that I know need a bit of a watering, I tend to give a bit more time to. But when it comes to my string of pearls, she's chilling, she's cool, and she's up there in my heart as well. I have top 5 top spots and she's up there at, what is it, number 3, number 4? I don't remember, but she's up there and I love her. I just might name, what is your name gonna be? Let's name her Lilith. Lilith is up there. Next up is the money tree. So my experience with the money tree has been a little on and off, just because it's on the sensitive side when it comes to plant care. It has to have a certain amount of sunlight, a certain amount of water every certain amount of days. I believe it's 5 to 7 days it needs to be watered. Do I adhere to it? I try. The sunlight, it needs a bit of medium sunlight, not enough to burn its leaves. I have actually done that by accident, but we're not gonna show that right now because we're trying to show our best sides. So the money tree, it actually came with a bit of a story. Basically, a man prayed for money, for funds, and after praying for funds, he found this strange plant in his front yard. And why did I say yard like that? Anyway, so he found it in his front yard and he took it as a sign and brought the plant home. And from the plant he brought home, the seeds that he harvested, he sold as other plants, giving him his income. So he prayed for money and thus he received it. And it's also said that the money tree reflects your finances. And if you can see that peeking little brown spot, I'm hiding the rest of the brown spots because I don't need you guys to know how bad it is over here. The last, and not the least though, surprisingly, because the last plants are actually sisters. They are called Fiddly Figs. Let me step back, model, show yourselves. Yes, so these are Fiddly Figs, and they are 2 different strains. I am unsure of their names, but I know they Ficus Loretta. And Ficus Loretta they're pretty plants. I will say that. They are pretty plants. I am still in the beginning stages with them. I've had them for about 4 months. They were like my most recent purchase, I guess. And they're not bad plants, honestly. They just need a lot of open space and a lot of sunlight to survive. You have to be very careful about the watering though, because they could get something called root rot that will then affect the leaves of the plant. And to cure the root rot is just a whole thing of having to repot them. You have to wash away the rot and then you have to repot them and stuff like that. And they need to be in a well-drained, I'm trying to show you. They need to be in a well-drained pot. I left this one in this planter pot just because of the holes and the drainage that it'll get. So until I feel comfortable enough with this plant, then I will probably repot it in another well-drained pot. But yeah, these 2 are native to Western Africa. And the only thing I would have to tip is just, give some indirect sunlight. Do not give it direct sunlight because it can actually burn its its leaves. And that's hard to reverse because then you're gonna have to cut off the leaf and you're gonna have to make sure that it didn't spread to other leaves. You always have to check your leaves because they could get a lot of infections, like plant infections. And that's a little worrying because these are some expensive plants. But so far so good. I will definitely keep you guys abreast of whether or not these plants survive because I am a little unsure of it myself at this point. But yeah, I think that is it on this plant. Don't die on me, guys. That'll hurt my heart. All right, that is it about my plants. I don't have much to say just because, like, to me, I feel like the plants that I get should be very low maintenance. I have made the mistake quite a few times, as you saw, picking up plants that are high maintenance, like the burrowtail or even the fiddly fig. Some people say that the fiddly fig isn't the most high maintenance, and I agree, but just right now for me, with my collection of plants, they are quite high maintenance. So yeah, I don't really think I have a bad bunch of plants, but I will definitely be expanding once I feel comfortable enough in getting more plants, meaning like I'm able to take care of the plants I have now and they're able to regenerate and grow. Then I'll buy myself another one. But until then, this is it. I love them, not equally, as you may have seen. All right, all I have to say is see you guys next time. Hopefully I'll have another video up by next Tuesday. So, bye.